Good evening, friends. I am Dr. Kishore Madhwani, and I am really privileged to be in front of you all today, an esteemed global audience, for this TEDx talk. Today, I am going to speak on my abiding passion, a subject which is very close to my heart, but is majorly neglected globally, a subject which actually needs to be taught in schools, colleges, but is dealt only in corporate organizations. This subject, which I am talking about, is working safely at your computer workstation to embark an ergonomic lifestyle. Now, many of you have experienced during the pandemic when our children attended online school and a significant proportion of the office workforce, because of working from home, they suffered from various musculoskeletal disorders, and this reflects the magnitude of the problem. According to the famous German industrial designer Luigi Silano, when we look at nature, we look at the birds, we look at the fish, all that looks good, works good, and is good for humans and humanity. But alas, when we come to technological devices, all that looks good, works good, but does not work good for humans. We humans need to know the way to use these devices safely to protect from bodily harm. So let us dwell deeper into this problem. My twist started when I bought this computer at home for doing my work. And I was surprised to see bottom of keyboard for health warning, do not remove this tag. I was intrigued. Let us see what this warning is. Wow, it is not one line, it is an explicit warning with details. You see any undersurface of a keyboard, one line will always be there. And that line is, use of keyboard or mouse may be linked to serious injuries or disorders. So imagine using your laptop, the trackpad of the laptop, well, you can use it, you can have a problem. What does it say further? When using a computer, you may experience occasional discomfort in your hands, arms, shoulders, neck, back, and other parts of the body. However, if you experience symptoms or complaints that are persistent or recurring in the form of discomfort, throbbing, aching, tingling, numbness, burning, stiffness, do not ignore these warning signs. Promptly see a qualified health professional. Many a times you may have experienced, we have ended up going to a doctor, but the doctor prescribes painkillers and muscle relaxants. Doesn't go deep down to the problem, what caused it. When you experience symptoms like this, do not ignore them, because they can sometimes be associated with painful conditions and sometimes permanently disabling disorders or injuries called as musculoskeletal disorders that involve muscles, tendons, nerves, joints, and we should not develop that. And that happened during the pandemic. While researchers are not yet able to fully understand everything about musculoskeletal disorders, but there is one general agreement. And the agreement is how a person positions his or her body during work and the amount of time the person is working, along with the health and the stress levels the individual is facing. So musculoskeletal disorders, what are the predisposing factors? You are sitting in one place for a long time in sustained posture, causing lactic acid accumulation, so you are prone to fatigue, faulty sitting postures, awkward postures that can result in strain and injuries. Faulty typing techniques. If you know typing, it's okay, otherwise you're applying too much pressure on the keys and you'll develop problems. Repetitive movements can cause cumulative trauma disorders because microscopic injuries occur on the tendons and joints, which require some time to recover. Improperly arranged workstation. Today I'll teach you how to arrange it, and inability to adopt the anatomical neutral work posture, which we'll discuss. So the magnitude of the problem, apart from musculoskeletal disorders, is strain on the eyes, deep vein thrombosis, reduced cardiovascular respiratory efficiency because of the slouch posture, because it's a sitting job. That's why the cardiovascular respiratory efficiency is low. Now, what is this slouch posture? This is what all of us adopt. Today I'll teach you the right posture. You will start working in the right posture. But very soon when we get engrossed in work, all of us, including me, we all go like that, forward, stoop our body, the back goes unprotected, and the weight of the body comes on the wrist and the forearm, and then we can damage important structures like the median nerve, and the problems occur. Wrists also get constricted because hands get crowded on the small keyboards of laptops. So today, I've taken my mission in life to train 10 million individuals with skills to work safely with computers and render ergonomics as an intrinsic component of everyday life. What is ergonomics? I must explain, because some of you may know, many may not be aware. It's a Greek word which can be split into two: ergon, which means work, and nomos, which means the laws of working. To make it simpler, very simple, fit the job to man rather than man to the job. You can't increase the dimensions of human being, but the essence, what you need to do is skillfully arrange the various components of the workstation, in our case, the chair, table, and the laptop and its accessories, to an individual's body dimension. Because somebody is tall, somebody is short, you need to adjust it to your body so that you can work comfortably without any discomfort, injury that develops to you. So let's learn and master the 5 skills for safer working at the computer workstation, and you can implement them after learning to prevent disc prolapse, repetitive strain injuries, shoulder injuries, etc. And I'm confident that at the end of this training, this session, each of you will be competent to train your family members, friends, colleagues, and join me in this noble mission to train 10 million individuals to help humanity, for which I seek your unrestricted support. So I appeal to you to accept the challenge, and if you accept the challenge, I'm going to help you. You need to conquer this challenge, so we need to go to the top of the CREST. So to make you understand these skills in a very simple manner, I have devised an acronym, CREST. So if you know CREST, you master CREST, you master the skills, you'll be able to safely work at the computer workstation. So I'm going to demonstrate on this mock workstation CREST. So let me explain to you one by one. So let's start with C. C is skill for adjusting the chair. There are 3 tips. The first tip is your elbows should be at 90 degrees. My elbows are at 90 degrees, right? Can you see that? So the first tip is elbows at 90. Why? Because any work you do in this posture of 90, it has least strain on the body. So elbows at 90 is the first tip in the skill for the chair. The second tip is adjust the height of the chair. So I am short, so adjust the height in such a way that feet touch the ground to that level that the thigh is parallel to the floor, leg is perpendicular, and feet touch the ground. And the third tip in the skill for chair is that your back touches the back of the chair all the time. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 2 hours, 3 hours, back should touch the back of the chair. If these 3 tips you know for the chair, you master the skill for the chair. Now, let me go a bit further. Why we need to protect our back. When I am standing, there's an S-shaped curvature of my spine which is maintained. But when we all sit, that S-shaped curvature goes for a toss and pressure comes on L3, L4 disc, and that's the site where you get major disc collapse. So people having weak backs can develop this problem. So how do we overcome it? We overcome it by taking the chair back support. Because if you see this chair, there's a curve. That curve is given to maintain the S-shaped curve. Also, there is another back support which can be taken up and down so that your lower lumbar spine is in contact with it and you're able to maintain the curve that is required. That's why back support is very important. Also, I would like to mention that when I'm standing, the pressure on the spine is 100 Newton. All of you are sitting, relaxed. I'm discomforted because of standing. All of you are relaxed, but the pressure on the spinal disc is 140 Newton. It's more. And when you go to slouch posture with your back unsupported, pressure on the spine is 185 Newton, almost double of standing. So, sitting job, you are more privileged to experience more strain on the back, most discomfort, and more chance of having a back issue. That's why it's important that today we say sitting is the new smoking, and the best thing that we need to do is to have sit-stand workstations. There should be a height adjustable table, and you can stand and work for 3 to 4 hours. When you stand, you're burning 30 to 40 calories per hour. You stand and work for 3 hours, you're burning over 100 calories just by standing. And you also need for sitting for 3 to 4 hours with precautions which I told you. So that's the best way to work. So that was about the chair with explanation for the back. Now let's come to the table. When I tell you the skill of the table, again there are 3 tips you need to know. One is the anatomical neutral posture of work. Now what is the anatomical neutral posture of work? A line going from the shoulder, arm, middle of the forearm, middle of the hand, middle of the wrist, and middle finger, everything in a straight line and at 90 degrees, which I told you in the chair. So everything in a straight line and at 90 degrees. This has the minimal strain on the body. You're driving a car, well, this is the position you take. This is the minimal strain for ergonomic work. So moment you deviate from this line, you're straining your body. And this happens on the smaller laptop, right? So you can't go like this, you can't go like this, you can't go up, can't go down at 90. And when you're using the laptop and you try to use the mouse there, well, you're deviating from this. So how do you work safely on a laptop? Very simple. 1 or 2 hours, you're traveling, you're on the aircraft, fine. But if you're in the office using a laptop or at home, you need to connect this laptop to a separate keyboard and mouse. That's what you need to do. So I'm opening my laptop. 90 degrees, straight line, it's not happening. When I use the laptop, I have to take this position. And when I use a trackpad, is a laptop, again that position which is not correct. So very simple, I will connect this laptop to a separate keyboard and mouse. Now my hands are at 90. I don't have to go away from the line, and the mouse is also at the same level as the keyboard, and this is the right way to work. So the other things that I need to tell you is that the second tip, this is my forearm reach limit, this is my arm reach limit. So in your forearm reach limit, you need to place the keyboard and mouse. Arm reach limit, you need to place the monitor right in front of your eye level and the phone. So if you know these three tips for the chair, anatomical neutral posture of work in a straight line, and the other two things which I said in the forearm reach limit, keyboard, mouse, arm reach limit, monitor right in front of your eye level, and the instrument we love the most, that is the phone. Suppose this is the test phone, it has to be in my arm reach limit. So let me make the adjustments. So if I have to work, is this at 90? No. That means I have to go underneath the table, okay? Achieve the ergonomic position, okay? And so forearm reach limit, keyboard and mouse is there, straight line is maintained. Arm reach limit, the monitor, so I will take it forward, right at eye level or maybe slightly below. This is low, so I can take a 3-inch block and raise this and get it to eye level. So when I do this, I'm working in ergonomic postures which are required, but I should not go into the slouch posture, because then the back goes unprotected and so does your front of the body, right? Now how to maintain this? So next go to the next skill. The next skill in CREST is the rest break. Every 45 minutes, get up, walk, drink water, and come back in the next 4 to 5 minutes and sit down again on your chair, taking the same position. Elbows at 90, feet touching the ground, back touching the back. So that way you maintain your posture every 1 hour and you can avoid the slouch posture, right? Then coming to the next, that is, this next skill is eye break. You are constantly working at maybe 1.5 feet constantly. So after 20 minutes, look at an object 20 feet away for 20 seconds. In that way, you are changing the focus and the pupillary muscles contract and relax, and there's no fatigue. Also, we need to blink our eyes, because blinking lubricates the eyes, or we can use lubricating drops. So we've completed skills for the chair, rest break, eye break, and the table. So what remains is the stretch break. So now I will teach you the stretches that you need to do twice a day. Once before lunch, once after lunch in the office, or every 4 to 5 hours. You must do, because you're using the phones also. So do the stretches with me. I'll teach you in such a way you're not going to forget. Just like you remember CREST, you remember the stretches also. So let's do the stretch. 3 T's for the neck. So I'm going to tell you stretches for the neck, shoulder, elbow, and wrist. 4 stretches. Now for the neck. 3 T's for the neck. Tilt your neck. Hold for 5 seconds. Repeat on the other side. So that's tilt. The second is twist your neck so that your chin comes in line with shoulder. Hold for 5 seconds. Repeat on the other side. So that's twist. And the third is tuck. You got to tuck your chin in. But I'll teach you in such a way that you remember the other stretches. So take your hands back. Everybody do. Take it behind the back of your occiput. Clasp your hands and then extend your neck and look down. So this is tuck. I want you to do tuck in this fashion because the remaining stretches becomes easy for us. So next is for the elbow. Look up, inside and outside, stretch your elbow 5 times. This is a trapezius stretch, and these are called as 5-second stretches or 5-number stretches. Either they are 5 seconds or their frequency is 5. So, elbow over, now shoulder. Rotate your shoulder clockwise 5 times and anti-clockwise 5 times. I'm sure you'll be feeling good with this stretch, right? And then the last for the wrist. So take your hand straight out and take the tendons at the wrist, pull them downwards. Hold for 5 seconds, then upwards 5 seconds. Then repeat on the other side. Downwards 5 seconds, upwards 5 seconds. Right? So 3 T's for the neck, till twist tuck, 1 for the elbow, 1 for the shoulder, 1 for the wrist, and 1 more for the wrist. Wriggles. This completes the stretches. So CREST I have explained to you in a very simple way, you're not going to forget, but I need to tell you few other important things before we conclude. So what is important? Is the best ergonomic chair you get or the behavior? Well, I can give you the best chair in the world, but if you're not going to protect your back, you're not going to do these precautions of how to work safely, you're not going to follow CREST, you're going to have issues. This will minimize your problems. So it's very important that we achieve excellence in ergonomics through continuous improvement process that is open to ideas of innovation. And this is an innovative way which I'm teaching you so that you remember and train others. So before I conclude, few tips on lifestyle changes. Remember, this is a desk job. All the time you're sitting, and sitting is the new smoking. So you need to be aerobic, engage in Zumba or dancing, engage in meditation, Reiki, yoga, pursue your passion, hobbies, and humor, enjoy life to the fullest, and make it stress-free, because stress is known to aggravate musculoskeletal pain. Today, I'm sure you all will agree, we were destined to meet because the universe has brought us all together to embrace learning. And I would like to thank God to have made this happen. Before I take your leave, I would like to end with these two timeless words that have been used through centuries to express one's gratitude. Thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you all.